This renovation is on a 37-year-old, light-gauge steel-framed house. We were hired to repaint the exterior walls and roof. This is the first major maintenance the house has ever had. The most obvious problem was the deteriorated sealant. With the situation in the Middle East worsening, materials were becoming harder to source. Before the naphtha shortage became a full-blown supply shock, we rushed through the planning and color selection and managed to start just before supplies stopped. Three days before the scaffolding went up, I came ahead to do the carpentry work. And this is the job. This back door was rarely used, except by the rain. As a result, the door panel was badly damaged. On top of that, the back door was not very practical. Open the door and it only leads to a narrow passage on the left. The passage is too narrow even for a trash can. There is an exit, but not much use for it. I also suggested replacing it with an insulated door, using the existing frame to minimize damage to the siding. But was it worth paying for a new back door that no one was going to use? After discussing it, we decided to retire this back door and turn the opening into a wall. Since the exterior was being painted, this was the perfect time to work on the wall. Ideally, I want to get this closed up in one day. Ideally is the important word. These are large wood fiber cement fire-resistant panels with a sprayed textured finish. Unlike large 3x10 shaku fiber cement siding panels, these panels have no shiplap joints. All four edges rely entirely on sealant. Remove the sealant, siding and frame, then close it with one panel. Simple, at least on paper. From the front, this is how the finished wall should look. Without scaffolding, I cannot get into a good position or put much force behind the utility knife. In a position like this, being able to remove the sealant with an oscillating multi-tool is a huge help. I will leave the interior wall in place and carefully remove only the frame and trim. When preserving the existing work, Demolition starts with a small exploratory cut. As I inspect the inside, I work out both the fastest way to take it apart and how to rebuild it. The frame flange was short, and the siding did not overlap it. That makes the back door easier for me to remove. But if the sealant fails, it also makes it easier for rain to get in. It is efficient to build, but a little more interesting to repair. I managed to remove the frame. The passage on the north side is much wider. A back door here might actually have been useful. I do not often work on light gauge steel homes, built with manufacturer-specific systems like this. I am working on this opening with the face of someone who would rather not.
もらったけど、どうしようなと思って。ここだけ通気を作っても意味ないなってちょっと今思ってさ。
ああ、全部直張りってことこれ。確かにね。
こういうと取れちゃうね。
Next, I remove the interior trim.
なんでこんな取れちゃうの?
No matter how careful I am, the corner of the drywall chips a little. Once the back door is apart, I can see there is almost no gap or clearance. It is built very tightly, literally no room to spare. Nearly 40 years later, it is still remarkably true. That is a major home builder for you. Before removing the siding, I have to find every screw hidden beneath the sprayed finish and remove it. The screws look like they bite into the wood, but they actually fasten into the steel framing behind it. Plywood is fixed over the steel framing, then the siding is installed over it with adhesive. As long as water and condensation stay out, this is a very solid house. I carefully remove only the siding without pulling off the plywood behind it. Water entering near the door louvers had nowhere to drain and followed the gaps around the frame. It rotted the plywood inside and even corroded the surface of the steel. If this sill had been wood, there might be nothing recognizable left.
そこかな。
The steel saved us this time.
ここだけやね。お客さんにこれ写真撮ってこんな撮ったよって。
The homeowner left us plenty of drinks, so I take a short break. Arigato gozaimasu.
めっちゃ入ってる。
午後の紅茶のありがとうございま
あ
す。
りがとう。どうしよう。砂糖不使用ラテもらおうかな。それ久々に見る、その丸の子。
I forgot the extension cord for the circular saw. You notice what you forgot, right when you need it.
入ったな。
入るんだね、それね。
ね。ちょっと引っかかりまくるだろうね、これ。
うん。鬱陶しいかもしれない。
ね。
This is a 14mm, 3x10 shaku fiber cement panel called a santoban. The name is short, the panel is not. It goes in last, but this big heavy panel takes over the workspace first. So I measure it and cut it down first. Next is the drywall for the interior side. It uses the same dust collecting circular saw, so I cut it to exact size while the saw is out. Space is limited, and the back door is at the rear of the property, so I batch the cutting to reduce trips back and forth. I also arrange the tools and materials in the order I will use them. This plywood under the door is slightly rotted. I could reuse it, but I would rather not. I normally bring scrap plywood or lumber for this, but today I forgot. I need less than 20 centimeters, but I have to cut it from a new 6 shaku board. A little wasteful. Reducing waste is important. That lesson hits a little close to home today.
言っちゃダメっていうの。
To match the existing wall thickness, I trim 3mm off the stud. A power planer would work, but I did not bring one, so I shave off one blade width with the circular saw. Next, I cut the wall framing to the required lengths. Today, the truck full of materials is also my workshop.
今日のコーラはうまいだろう。
うまい。
コーラビールだもんな。
I do not want the screws carrying the whole load, so I bring in the adhesive too. This Henkel adhesive bonds wood, steel, tile and stone. Even when the surfaces are damp, with enough curing time, it is strong enough for this kind of work even without nails. The backing is slightly uneven and there are a few gaps. This adhesive is stiff and non-sagging, yet it stays slightly flexible. It comes into its own when leveling uneven surfaces or when screws and nails are hard to use. I cut the backing 1 mm oversize and the facing panel 1 mm undersize. That tiny difference makes on-site adjustment much easier. Now I install the fiberglass insulation. Because I am using a 3x6 shaku drywall sheet, I add backing at the 6 shaku joint. Now I install the drywall on the interior side. I finish the interior side first, so the children will not get hurt when they come home. The existing wall has plaster applied over wallpaper, leaving a slight step in the surface. I use the thickness of the adhesive to level out that step. Before evening, I managed to finish the interior wall. Next, I move on to the exterior wall. Because the siding joint will be sealed, I install a hat-shaped joint backing. This creates two-sided adhesion, so the sealant can move without tearing. Sealant lasts longer when it only has to work on two sides, not three. Now it is time for the santoban I cut earlier. This panel is seriously heavy. Holding it up while aligning it gives my arms a proper workout.
出てこないにゆり。
はい。
And right at the very end, I messed up. A nail punched straight through the siding. I packed the insulation too tightly, so its springback keeps pushing the siding out. I push, and the insulation pushes back. So far, it is a draw. There is an aluminum fence behind me, leaving nowhere to brace myself or hold the panel. Installing the interior drywall first has backfired a little here. I use screws to pull the panel in gradually, checking for any lift as I go. Siding screws, self-drilling screws for steel, and siding nails. I bring them all into service.
上は釘だけどビス打ったり、こっちは鉄骨ビス釘打ち。まあちょっと汚いけどね。
Somehow, I removed the back door and turned it into a wall in one day. Then the exterior and roof painting began. From here, I could leave it to the painters. Or so I thought. An unexpected problem came up, and I had to step in again right away. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching all the way to the end.